Not much. How you doing?
Good, man.
Getting my butt handed to me in hockey.
What is up?
Sorry.
There he is, the PipeLayer. Oh, no, that's cool. Happy to be here. Welcome, everybody. This is the Commissioner, Jimmy the Mailman Milstead. It's episode 15 of the STORKSDESK, a fantasy hockey talk podcast. Tons of NHL lines abound, and we are talking in our fantasy league, non-divisional week 20. We're in week 20, and joining me tonight, as always, the deputy. This is his show, Kevin Stork from Maple Ridge, BC. And then our special guest for the evening, he happens to be my opponent. And he is also going to be Stork's opponent next week in our final regular season finale there in the Gretzky division. Of the DuPont PipeLayers, Seattle Kraken faithful, him and Bowie have joined the show. I'd like to welcome back the PipeLayer, Tim Kelly. What is up? Let's go to Tim. Let's go to Tim first. Sorry, Stork. I know this is your show. Let's go to Tim. Tonight, the Kraken take on the Penguins. How you been, Tim?
I've been good. I am the worst fantasy hockey player that we have, but I'm here to spoil both of your seasons. That's what I'm.
Oh, that's terrible.
I haven't, this past half hour, I've been getting ready for this show. I haven't really looked. The big game tonight has been the Winnipeg Jets at the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars, last I saw, was spanking them. Your boy, Tim, Jake Ottinger in net versus my boy, Connor Hellebuck. And from what I've seen from Hellebuck tonight, he doesn't look too good. The Central, two powerhouse teams in the Central right now is going Tim's way. Last I saw, I think we were 9-9, but you'll probably retake the lead because of this goaltending matchup. What are your thoughts this year? Your record doesn't reflect, I think, how your team is, but it's been a down year, Tim. Thoughts? You were a better team last year. Well, I mean, you didn't make the playoffs, but this year it's been a disaster. What can you attribute to this to? You're a 3-win team. I think you're a better team than this, but go ahead.
I think the biggest thing is I tried to get goalies, and I realized it doesn't matter. You just got to ride. It's like real hockey. You just got to ride the hot hand, right? It's fantasy hockey. And now I did take Connor Bedard with my first pick, so I'm not getting the output of a top 5 pick either. I mean, not that he's going to be there, but we all saw him get his job busted. So it's been been tough. I need to hit those middle late round picks. Get guys with high upside, and I kind of went with kind of older guys.
Well, you just stick with Bedard for next.
It looks like you've suffered. Yeah. Hey, Stork, I don't want him keeping him, but no, I'm just kidding, Tim. Injury woes have definitely been DuPont's. I think you're getting Jack Eichel back. Did he play tonight? I don't even know. Jack Eichel should be back soon.
He's still on IR.
You have Jack Eichel, right? Oh, okay. So you should be getting some
at practice today. So.
All right. Hopefully I can beat you, and then you can have Jack Eichel next week to beat Stork. But we'll get back to more DuPont PipeLayers talk in 1 second. Let's go to the guy that's the show's named after, episode 15, STORKSDESK. Storky, how you doing? We had a big this is our fantasy deadline trade special. Wednesday was our trade deadline yesterday, February 28th, and today is Leap Day. Happy Leap Day to you, gents. Stork, your thoughts? We had 8 deals go down. We can go through every one of them real quick. But go ahead, sir. How you been?
I'm good, and as far as those trades, I was a little astonished at how many we had. I figured we might see 2 or 3 at the most, but everybody got into a frenzy, and for some, it's going to help them this year, but for a couple of teams out there, they're going to be looking really good next year or really bad next year because they give away their draft picks, and it's going to cost them later. They gave out some high draft picks, and it's funny to think with a 3rd or 4th round selection in our draft, what kind of player you can get. And if you don't have that pick, you're going to miss them next year. So it's I mean, I felt kind of horrible that I gave away a 4th-round pick. At least I got a 6th-round back. But yeah, there was a lot of deals. Everybody's all in there. A couple of teams are all in for this year. But the price of doing that is going to be next year. So it'll be interesting how that goes in our next draft.
I apologize, guys, if I'm being distracted. I got a new cat. His name's Chubbs, and he is causing havoc to my left as I have the drapes pulled. He's knocking down everything. So sorry if you hear any noises. I can't get to him right now, but apologies. Chubbs, he's a winner. He's a big Bowie fan, though, Tim. Yeah.
Well, just with what Stork said, here's the 3rd round this year: Igor, Vasilevsky, Otter, Mika, Stamkos, Tim Stutzel, Timo Meyer, Hellebuck, Panarin.
Bullies.
Yeah, Alexander.
The Predman 3rd rounder.
And then Alexander from Florida and Lindholm. You know, these last names I butcher all the time, and I don't want the.
Oh no, I think the only name he butchered was Stutzla.
I think you got the point. That's for sure.
You can call him whatever you want, Tim, because you're the man. But yeah, I mean, well, let's talk to the chase. The big winner at trade deadline, if you want to call him a winner, is the Woody Woodpeckers. But he's going to have to make do. And he's all Mark Wood, all in on winning your name, Stork, the Stork Cup. Right now, he was the first place team in the Ovechkin, and he's faltered a little bit. And the Cherry Bombs, Alex Buchanan is taking over, and she's on fire right now, by the way. Last I checked, she was beating Dave's Probert Etiquette pretty good, about 17-2 or something, but it could have changed by the last half hour. But and she's got Wayne Gretzky, Connor McDavid humming right now.
Same thing.
Yeah, you're going to live and die by those draft picks. This is something I've never really experienced before. I know I'm in a couple of Stork leagues, and haven't seen too many draft pick trades, but once that first one was made on Monday, it seemed like everybody started. I actually gave up an 8th-round pick for a 9th because I got Rupe Hintz. But you know, it's this is my final week. If I can't win, I'm pretty much going to be done. So I gave it some fun. But I got offered a good player for a 2nd-round pick this week, and I just couldn't do it like Stork. I got offered a really juicy player, and I just couldn't pull the trigger because I'm saving some in the bank for next year. But it is what it is. We'll go over the trades here in a few minutes. But NHL storylines, anything popping out to you guys? Tim was mentioning Connor Bedard. He is back. He's playing the Avalanche right now, and I don't have that score in front of me. I'm not sure how he's looking, but Storks Leafs won. I heard Austin Matthews had his 53rd goal. Did he get anything else?
No, that's it. But he got the game winner, I believe, too. So
that's a big one for you, buddy. Yeah. So, well, let's go real quick to last week. The last time we talked to you was episode 14. Me and Stork. Last week, a pivotal divisional week in week 19, a rivalry week. DB Cooper, the champs, beat you, Stork, 11-6 when it was all said and done. I thought you were going to beat them. You could be punching your ticket to the playoffs if you would have done that, but a tough loss for you, sir. The Woody Woodpeckers on the chin. The Killer Bunnies end up. Dan Hall gets his first ever Ovechkin division win, guys. 12-9. He's sacked up. Finally, he's not winless anymore in the division. That was a huge loss for Mark. So I think that's why he panicked maybe and picked up a lot of trades, which we'll go over in a minute. Dave Snellgrove, a big win for the Probert Etiquette divisional matchup with Julio, who's currently in the playoffs. That was a bad loss for Julio. 12-9. Probert Etiquette ends up jumping in to a playoff spot with that win. But will they be jumping back out because they're losing right now? The Cherry Bombs just consistently are smoking the competition. They're a championship threat. They dominate Scott, the first ever Ovechkin division champ, 16-4, and this officially eliminated Scott. Nova Fire Brigade are out, and they identified themselves as sellers here at the deadline. Nick's Frozen Norseman had an impressive victory over you, Tim, and the DuPont PipeLayers, 15-5. Your series, though, was very close. He beat you 2-1. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. And then I took one on the chin against Whalen. He's another big hot contender. I think two contenders for DB Cooper's championship is Whalen Womack of the Washington Wendigo. Say that a million times with the W's. He beat me 11-9 last week. So that was last week's scores. Stork, any thoughts on your match with DB Cooper?
Yeah, I just couldn't get it done on the weekend, man. First I picked the wrong goaltender. That cost me. The game was close right up until Saturday, Sunday. And my guys just fizzled out, and DB Cooper took over the lead and ended up beating me. Tough loss. I fell back down to 500, but looking at bouncing back this week and getting back in a playoff spot.
Timmy, any thoughts against the Colonel Nick Greedy, one of your biggest rivals? I know you're always like F the Colonel, but your thoughts on your match? I thought you were beating him pretty good earlier in the week, just like you're beating me.
But I mean, look at some of these numbers. I actually scored more goals, but he had 10 more assists, 17 higher on the plus minus. I got my penalty minutes in though, so that's good. But and I had 5 game winners to his 1, but he had 48 more shots on goals. The goalie statistics were nasty. My team gave up 2 goals more a game than his goalies did. We both gave up 13 goals, and he had 2 more games than I did. Just not good. And then on Saturday night, I went to the Kraken Wild game, and then his real team punked my Kraken. Yeah. His team was coming off a game against Edmonton the night before, and then they just the Kraken looked awful that game.
Yeah, that was a big loss for the Kraken. I mean, they're still in it, obviously, but I mean, because they came back and had a nice win against the Bruins. But that's a team you're trying to catch in the wild card, or you're in the race with the wild card. Yeah. It was kind of disappointing because I honestly thought the Kraken would be the team that was stomping on them. But the Wild are playing pretty good hockey, and I know Nick's excited. Not much happening for Nick this year. Vikings and Minnesota Twins and amongst other things. He needs some happiness. I thought he had a great team this year. The Norsemen officially eliminated, but they do get a big win over you, Tim. Speaking of last week's action, here's what Grapes thinks in his standings. Official rankings, but it looks pretty close to what the playoffs are right now. Once again, DB Cooper, this guy, when was his last loss? He's had a tie or 2. I think he's had 1 tie, but he's been consistent. As we come on the show every week, Stork, we all talked about how we weren't impressed with his draft, and here he is. He's just I kind of relate Mark Raymond to Tortorella. He gets the most out of his players. He's a good strategist. He coaches them up, and he presses the. I mean, I love Mark. I mean, maybe he is a prick too in the locker room. I don't know. But fan base. Mark Raymond's a cool dude. Right now, Mark usually watches these shows. He's at band practice. I try to get him on here. But, he's in a band and he plays the drums. And right now he's playing the drums on all of us. Maybe beating to another championship. But you know who's right behind him though? Right there in Portland, Oregon, is the Cherry Bombs. That cup. There's a serious threat with Alex. She's the rookie owner. She is on fire as well. I mean, McDavid is just racked up assists. He's gotten himself back in the Hart and scoring Art Ross races, even though Kucherov for Whalen has been money. He's the first over the century mark. I believe last I saw he was at 103 points. Not sure if I noticed the Lightning lost tonight in overtime to the Buffalo Sabres, but Cherry Bombs right on his heels. They are on the cusp of an Ovechkin Division championship. They passed the Woody Woodpeckers, as we mentioned. Woody Woodpeckers were in first place for a long time in the OV Division. They're at number 3. They're one of the few teams that dropped. Whalen's been consistent. He's stayed at 4. Julio's been consistent. He's been at 5. Dave stayed at the 6th spot this week. I can't remember if Storky dropped. Oh, no, I think Stork stayed at 7. Adna dropped to 8. And then pretty much consistent, the bottom 4 there. Timmy,
Yeah.
right now you're slated for the tuna, buddy.
Yeah.
Which would help ship the trophy. We don't ask for more than $25, but it's
Well,
like a
you know what?
honor system donation. But
Tim's
to
gonna
your
start.
credit,
He's gonna win this week. I'm
Yeah.
predicting
yeah,
because now Killer Bunnies have one more win than them. He can get back to even with a win this week.
yeah.
I think
Next
they
week
hope-
is a different story.
Well, the problem is I think the Killer Bunnies hold the tiebreaker, so I got to win the next 2 weeks. You know.
Yeah, well, we can't have that, man. I'm sorry. Unless I'm locked into a playoff spot, you can't have that next week.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't remember who Dan Hall plays, but like you said, Dan does hold the tiebreaker. But to be honest, Tim, I don't think you might owe anything. I mean, like it's an honor system. If you feel what you feel, we don't ask for more than $25. But if things hold up, that trophy might not leave the Mark Raymond household. But we're gonna try our best to have that changed, unless Alex is watching and Mark's watching. But as far as the President's Cup race, Mark Raymond destroyed us for President's Trophy again. 15 wins he's at. He could make it to 16. I think he had 15 wins last year in the regular season. So he's going for a better record this year. I think he might have a better team this year, guys. I don't have his roster in front of me. Should I pull that up?
Well, I can help you out here. What would you
the
like
DB
to know?
Coopers. I just wanted to like his well, first of all, let's go to you, Tim. You saw Pasta in person this week. I know you hate Boston sports teams, but they did call a goal. Pasta, he's on Washington's team this year, Waylon Womack's team, and he's reaping the benefits of Pasta. But Pasta, defending MVP of our league. Go ahead, give me your rant, buddy. Your thoughts on the game against the Kraken in Boston this week at CPA. Pasta can do no wrong, though, in this fantasy league. He's been a valuable player. Last year, a championship. He's the guy the first ever captain to hoist that Stork Cup. And this year, maybe Waylon's team here, the Wendigo, the 4th-ranked team. Serious. Your thoughts on Pasta? I know you came on before the show started with some comments, man. Give it to me.
Stork, I was telling Jimmy, Pasta, he had what we thought was a hat trick. I actually went to the game on Tuesday as well. And, see, I don't like Boston, the Chouds, the Red Sox, whatever. I argue with these people. They were a ton of people in the barn, Climate Pledge. Did not like seeing that. They're running their mouths as they do, and it's like, okay, we're a third-year team, whatever. But he got the third goal. There was a goalie interference, and they were all crying. It was clearly goalie interference. But, Pasta got a hat trick, but then they gave the goal to another guy. Very exciting game. It was 3-3. We go to overtime. Boom. Shootout. Kraken started off. Yamamoto gets the goal. Grubauer has 2 stops. Beniers, we thought, could end it. He doesn't. It's 1-0. Pasta comes, and then he chokes. The guy should have had a hat trick. Could have had a hat trick. His last goal. Nope. Somebody else gets it. Then he chokes. Now, they got the number 1 star, but a choke artist. I told Jimmy he should be so embarrassed. He got those goals when they were, they weren't meaningless. They sent the game to overtime in the shootout. But the guy should be so embarrassed he should retire. He should never play hockey again.
Whew. Stork, you're no Boston fan. I know, being a Leafs fan, you would love to agree with what. Man, Pasta is one of my favorite players, and I'm not a big Boston fan, but interesting words from Tim. Any rebuttal there, Storky, on Timmy's thoughts?
He's right about the choke. He had his 3 goals, so But you can't really argue with it, really. I hate the Bruins, so. Any dissing about the Bruins works for me. I can't really disagree with it.
Well, it's February 29th. It's the leap. Our trade deadline was yesterday, guys, the 28th, and we're leaping into a March. We've got 2 weeks left in the regular season, guys. Real quick, I'll update tonight's Thursday night scores here. We saw the Islanders beat the red-hot Detroit Red Wings. I'll get your guys' thoughts on Patty Kane in a minute. Islanders won 5-3 tonight. I did not expect that. Detroit, I know they're humming, and they're always due for a loss. But Alex Lyon is a big reason in net the way they're playing as well. Not just the offense. They crushed my Capitals a couple nights ago. Whalen is one of those goalie mercenary pickups, and I think he's found a starter in Alex Lyon. So, but he did get the loss tonight. Islanders win 5-3. Hurricanes double up the Blue Jackets 4-2. Blue Jackets are the Blue Jackets. Hurricanes starting to come on. I'm still not sold on them overtaking Florida in the East, but we saw the Panthers hang on to beat the Canadiens 4-3. Sabres, like I mentioned earlier, won in overtime against the Lightning. Lightning, one of those teams, little aging out like the Caps, but they're fighting for their wild card lives. Bad loss to the Buffalo Sabres, 3-2 in overtime. Rasmus Dahlin, the overtime winner there. Golden Knights came all the way back. I believe they're down 3-0 when I started watching that game, but they did lose. Morgan Geekie, the former Kraken, lost.
Yes, sir.
Or he had a hat trick, but Vegas lost 5-4, and their comeback comes up short. And then Leafs, 4-2. Austin Matthews got his 53rd. That was he only had one goal, Stork?
I've only got one goal in my team.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it was
history-wise,
a game winner.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts, Arizona Twitter. I knew this is something we should have hammered at the casino, Tim. I knew it was I want to say somebody said it was the year 2000, or what was it? I could be wrong on this. 2001. Last time the Coyotes lost to the Maple Leafs
At home.
Or the Winnipeg Jets. Oh yeah, I mean, or no, they were still the Coyotes, right? I don't even remember. But,
no, they were the Coyotes.
Wow,
the Leafs
that's
haven't beat them at home since 2002.
Wow, that's a crazy stat.
Crazy stat.
That's like Dave and DB Cooper. Dave's never beaten DB Cooper. He's 0-6. But well, they exercised the demons there, Stork. They beat the Coyotes 4-2. So good win by your boys. Current scores going on. The game I've been following was the Stars still have a 3-1 lead over the Jets. Me and Tim's goaltenders are going at it. Hellebuck versus Ottinger, and right now Ottinger is winning. I'm up 10-8 right now, Timmy, but I think you're gonna definitely get back in the game with the Ottinger win. Avalanchers and Blackhawks are on ESPN right now, 3-0 the Lanch. They'll be getting Big Val back if he's not back already. I didn't see him off the IR, but that'll be a big get for me if I can get him back while I'm still in playoff contention. The Penguins and Kraken just started. We're gonna try to get Timmy off to see that game here. There in the first period. Kings Canucks tonight. That's a big juicy matchup. And the Wild, they got their asses kicked. Colonel Nick Reedy not going to be happy. The Predators 5-1. He was all giddy about a Jake Middleton tarps off fight tonight. That's all he talked about. So they took a big loss there, Timmy. So maybe big Kraken win tonight can get you back. Oh, later on tonight, Ducks and Sharks battle of the. I think the new term this year, the Macklin Celebrini draft pick. He'll be number 1 next year. Consensus number 1. Slack in for Macklin, I think is what it is. So be look out for that. But NHL storylines, guys. Anything popping out to you before we talk about some trades from yesterday?
No, let's get into
you first.
Let's get into those trades because
okay.
We have 8 of them.
Okay. Let me bring them up from the transaction list here. Monday's when it all kicked off. We did have 9 trades this year. A long time ago, Storky and Nick had a minor deal. Jacob Chikrin for Adam Lowry. But overall, the league fantasy hockey, not a big trade league. It's a big free agent pickup league.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty fun this week. It all started on Monday with yours truly, the Adna Americans. Our number 1 pick this year did not pan out. We're a big fan of the player. We might be a big fan of the player next year. But Tage, Nathaniel Thompson, Buffalo Sabres as a team, they won tonight, but they're not going to make the playoffs. I picked them to be a second-place team this year, guys, and it just didn't pan out. I decided it was time. I needed a little change-up. If I'm going to make the playoffs, I knocked on Scott Lanham's door of the Nova Fire Brigade. He was open for business, and he had a player, Sasha Barkov, an underrated player, the big centerman, the captain for the Florida Panthers. And I knocked on his door. I gave up probably a little bit too much. I also gave up Phil Deneau, but I wanted to make a roster spot empty. That was the reason I did that, Storky, because I wanted to maybe flirt around with some pickups this week. I'm happy with the deal. Barkov's doing pretty well. But what's your thoughts? That was what opened it all up. It was Tage Thompson, Phil Deneau for Sasha Barkov this week. No picks were involved in that one. A big blockbuster deal to get it all kicked off. I'll start with Storky. Who do you think won that trade?
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell right now, but since there was no picks, I don't think it affected Nova at all, but it can affect you, especially if Tage lights on fire in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I mean, normally you can't go wrong with a guy like Barkov. He's a quality hockey player. But yeah, like I said, I mean, you're the one who took the gamble on that one because
I'm going to be playing him next week.
You're going to be spitting nails yourself. So
yeah.
But like I said, no picks were exchanged, so I think it was a pretty equal trade. Other than that,
wow, there's
you might pick the right guy. Barkov might get hot, right?
I've always been a fan of Sasha Barkov. You guys mentioned the third round picks. He was the third round pick last year, and he went to Scott late. I remember during our draft, I was like, damn, that guy went third round. I mean, that guy could have easily been a first rounder. It was a deep first round, but a couple of gambles. I mean, I know Tim Bedard, that's kind of a no brainer. But Tim, your thoughts on it? On that trade?
Yeah, I'm with Stork on that one. I mean, it's a mitigated deal for Nova because he didn't give up any picks. But like you said, I mean, it's a good deal for you. But if Tage plays like he has been, but if he heats up in I guess we're in the last quarter of the season, aren't we? So
didn't he score another goal tonight? I think he did, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He had an assist on the. If he did score, I didn't see it. He had the assist. They had a power play in overtime against the Lightning, and I saw him handling the puck. Darling went down low, and he got the goal.
No, it says he had a goal. He did.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember, Scott was mad that I took because I had the pick before Scott. I had 2 picks in front of Scott. That was his target was Tage Thompson. So I have no doubt Tage is going to have a great career. He's still a young player. He's a big guy. He reminds me a lot of Lemieux. I know that's a lot of he stick handles in a phone booth. He's got great hands. He's a big boy. Buffalo just couldn't be consistent this year. Tage did have some time on the shelf. And if I'm going to make the playoffs, I needed a change up. But what I will say is, guys, traditionally Buffalo, this is the time of year when they're too out late. It's too out of it. This is when they start playing well. So, I mean, I know I'm playing Nova next week, and it probably most likely will bite me in the ass, but we will see. I needed a change. I am happy about Barkov because I do think the Florida Panthers could very well be the President's Trophy winners if they can keep the foot on the gas here. I think they're every bit as a cup contender. I still think the West will produce the cup champion. No offense, Stork. I just think but that could be a good thing for the Leafs. I think the West will beat each other up. But yeah, that was what started it all, and then the dominoes fell, guys. Let's talk about the next deal. Woody Woodpeckers. They're the most active team in this trade deadline. Mark Wood of the Woody Woodpeckers chips are all in. He sends this is a kind of where the draft picks. This is a historic where the draft pick started. He sends a round 2 pick with Tyler Seguin, an aging vet. He's on the shelf right now for Stars. To Scott Lanham's Nova Fire Brigade for Alex DeBrincat, who had a great start to start the season. He's been consistent. I thought he was an MVP at the beginning of the year. DeBrincat, though, now with Patty Kane's sick, he picks up DeBrincat, and he reverses a round 18 pick. So Mark will get the 18th pick. Thoughts on this one? A number 2 pick going to Scott. Scott's going to have a nice draft next year. Tim, we'll start with you first, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I will, full disclosure, he offered me Jamie Benn for Sid the Kid, and I had turned it down. I don't know if there were any picks involved. I don't remember seeing anything. I might have misread the Yahoo alert, but I was like, I was like, no, we're not doing this. But, I mean, giving up picks, man, it's a dangerous game. You got to cash them in. Not that it's relevant to this league, but I'm in a fantasy football league where apparently everybody you could keep, I thought we only had one keeper. So I was wheeling and dealing at the trade deadline to go for it, not realizing I could have kept Jordan Love right as he was heating up in the NFL season. I won the league, though. So,
there you go.
The whole point is to win the league, right? I mean, in this league, there's only going to be one person happy, and the 11 of us are going to be pissed off. I mean, I'm already pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be shipping that trophy out. But yes, you go for it. I admire it. It's a lot to give up, but if you really think you can do it, I mean, is anybody beating DB Cooper?
Well, that's the thing. It only takes 1 week in the playoffs, but good points there by good points by Tim. And Mark, historically, Mark has played well in my fantasy leagues. Last year he had a down year. I'm basing it more off football, but Mark is a traditionally pretty good fantasy league player in my leagues. Maybe he's just like feeling it. He's going for it. I do like the players he picked up. I will say, we'll talk about his last trade in a minute. I still think that one was kind of a doozy. But Stork, did we already get your opinion on it?
Go ahead. On the second round pick? Well, I mean, I already told you what I think about in this league. Giving up really low picks is a real gamble. And like you said, Mark started the roller coaster of trading for picks, and that's probably one of the reasons why a few of us got into it. But I'll tell you what, man. I mean, Tim just read the list of third-round picks this year. Yeah. Can you imagine what the list of second-round picks looks like?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I got to say. I mean, you're losing a stud in the second round. And when you don't have one, next year, you're going to be going, when everybody's throwing out these names for their picks on the second round, you're going to be sitting there sucking on your thumb going, ooh, I think I screwed up that.
Well,
yep.
I'll read the list to you. Brady to Chuck, Alex Ovechkin, Mitchell Marner, Kucherov, Sathan Makar, Pedersen. Is it Peterson? Pedersen? I can't even see. This is the problem. These last names.
We know who it is.
Hintz, Nugent Hopkins, Sid the Kid, Sorokin, and Nico from New Jersey. Those are all second round picks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
everything to get your
names.
Hey, the Stork Cup. This is only the second year in existence. It's a prestigious cup, dude, and Mark is all in to get his name on it. The second, he'd be the second Mark. Go ahead, Tim.
No, sorry. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Or enlighten me, I guess. So we're doing a keeper this year. Do you keep it the round that you drafted somebody, or does that round, just the first round, not really count?
No. You get one keeper, and we start a draft.
Okay, so it's
it's not round. Whatever round you picked him, you lose that round. No.
Oh, okay. So technically, a second round pick would be a third round pick, then, correct?
Well, no. I mean, next year, you mean?
Yeah.
No, a second round pick is a second round pick. Okay. If he finishes high in the standings, which he is so far,
yeah,
that second round pick is almost a first round pick.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm confusing myself here. So yes.
Well,
all right.
I'm kind of confusing myself too. What I think happens, guys, is like in the ESPN league, Stork, right? Your keeper is kind of like everybody's pick is in the first round, or it's your keeper. Is that what you're talking about? Where it's listed?
No, he's thinking. If I picked you got Crosby, right, Tim?
Yes.
And you pick him in the second round.
Yes.
If you keep Crosby as your captain, what you're saying is, do I lose my second round pick because I picked Crosby in the second round last year?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You still have your first and second.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what Tim meant by that.
Yeah.
Okay. I was confused myself there for a minute, but
Yeah, sorry.
what
I understood what he was saying.
what we need to bring up for the competition committee is our keeper deadline date. I am suggesting, guys, and this is not set in stone. I know it presents a challenge because guys could get hurt. Storky, I don't know what your thoughts on this is, but I was thinking by the NHL free agency period of July 1, I would like everybody to nominate their one. I mean, you could decide till July 1. Your thoughts on that, Stork? Is that too early? I mean, I personally think that's awesome. Like you're signing on free agent day, your keeper, and that is what you're advertising. Like, I know a lot of people might frown on that leading up to training and stuff. What if they get hurt in preseason? I think that's a good wrinkle in the league. I think I'm going to bring that up, but I think it should be July 1 that you have to announce your keeper. I already know who my keeper is. It's Cale McCarr.
I do too. I don't have any problem with putting a deadline on it. Not at all. No. You know, give
I know
time to think about it. Because there's going to be some guys that have two really good players, and they're going to be torn about who they want to keep.
Yeah.
So give them a little bit of time to ponder it and work out the math and all that stuff. Sure, yeah, put a deadline on it, but give them a couple of months to think about it too. So.
Oh, what I'm saying is though, like in your leagues, I've noticed like it's days before the draft is what I'm saying is.
I do a deadline of 1 week before the draft. I want the keepers picked 1 week before the draft. And why I do that is because I want everybody to have some time to think about it.
Yeah.
And I also want everybody to have a week to look at the free agency, where all the draft picks are going to be listed after 1 week before the draft. So everybody can pick out a strategy, figure out who they're going to target, and stuff like that. That's why I do it a week before the draft. Give everybody a week to look to see who's in the pool.
All right. Well, we'll have that competition end of the year video, and we can vote on when we think our keeper.
No, for our league, it's only one keeper, so July 1st works fine.
Okay. I mean, I'll still have a vote. It's a Democratic league here, and we'll have a unanimous decision once the season is officially over. So, but that's a topic to be discussed later. Let's move on to another trade here real quick and move on this show. This was a big one, guys. Mark had always had a big-time goaltending stable. Did I lose you guys? Okay, no, he's still there. Okay, I thought I saw Stork frozen. It might have been me. But a big goaltending trade here. Mark had a big goaltending stable. He trades Andrei Vasilevsky and Colton Sissons and another pick. It was round 5 pick this time, guys. Trades his 5th round pick. Back to Scott again, Nova Fire Brigade, for Linus Ullmark. And Tage Thompson goes to the Woody Woodpeckers. And Scott's pick was a round 15 pick. This was a big block. This is probably the biggest blockbuster of the day to that point. I thought I had the big blockbuster trade. No, just like that. Thoughts on that one, guys? We can start with Tim here. Another big high pick given up by Mark, a round 5 pick. But he gets Ullmark and Tage Thompson, the other center.
You know, again, if it wins him the league, it's a very sound strategy. But if you don't win the league, and like you guys said, yeah, like it's gonna be rough season. Now, granted, he'll come down and enjoy the bottom of the league. I'll fight him for the tuna next year with his lack of talent.
That's Sammy. Come on, man. You'll be good.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
A lot of people don't know. Timmy's kind of a new hockey fan. I mean, I give him credit. He's knowing the league now. I know Tim. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I'm not giving you enough credit. How long have you followed the National Hockey League?
Well, I mean, my dad's from Chicago, so he's a Blackhawks fan. So, but I was definitely a watching the playoffs
Yeah.
Now I'm watching regular season. Since the Kraken have joined in, I've been a regular season.
Yeah.
So, which is why I butcher all these names, that I've done. I'm like, who the heck?
You're doing fine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are. Storky, your thoughts on that deal?
Again, I mean, we've talked about it the whole show about those draft picks. So now I've got listed that he's lost a second and a fifth, and we're not done yet. He can have a nap for the first 6 rounds next year and not miss a thing.
Yeah. By the way, Timmy,
Yeah.
Oliver Bjorkstrand 1-0.
Yes, sir. The All-Star.
Somebody
you go.
picked up Bjorkstrand today, right? So I think today. But all right. So that was that trade. I think overall Scott's going to be happy with how his trade deadline went.
He's licking his chops for next year already, and I don't blame him. I would be too.
Then we had a big Gretzky division deal. This is where Kevin Stork, the deputy, gets involved. He trades Logan Cooley, a youngster, Arizona Coyote. Didn't pan out as far as a big-time great Calder. I thought he might have personally been up there with Bedard, but he's nowhere near Bedard this year. But a good player. But Storky sends Cooley in a round 4 pick over to the Colonel, Nick Reedy. Obviously not making the playoffs. Going to gain something out of this season. Gets a nice pick. Number 4 pick from Stork. Claude Giroux going for the final push there in Ottawa. He's had a pretty decent season offensively from what I've seen. Not so much defensively as a team effort, but and you gave up Stork was a round 6 pick. So I think that was a pretty good deal. We'll go to Stork first because that was your trade. What do you think?
Well, my whole idea there was to get Giroux, who wins a lot of face-offs, and I wanted to, for the final 2 games of the season, I wanted to strengthen my face-off wins. And Giroux is one of the best ones in the league, so not as much for the points I was wanting him for. I wanted him for face-off wins to give me some strength down the middle, and that was my whole point. I targeted Giroux in particular, so
yeah, that's a good hockey trade there. It pays off for Nick, and Giroux's always been a top 5, top 6 face-off man. So as soon as I saw that come across the wire, I thought that was a really good fair deal. Tim, any thoughts on that one?
Trade.
No, I like it.
Any thoughts?
Like it for both guys. I mean, 4th round to a 6th rounder. I mean, that can be anywhere from 24 picks to 14. A 14 pick difference or a 24 pick difference.
And I felt bad, Tim, about losing a 4th rounder. That's how much I understand how this keeper league works with one keeper. Those draft picks are golden. Yeah, and especially those lower ones. So, I mean, I originally offered him a 7th round pick for a 10th round pick, but he wanted to go a little bit lower. And then I kind of explained to him that, because he wanted like a 2nd or a 1st, and there was just no way you were getting a 2nd. And then I think he thought about it for a few minutes, and he thought, Stork is right. That's a pretty dynamite pick to give up for a guy that you're going to throw in the trash can at the end of the season, which you're ultimately doing because you can only keep one. Everybody else goes into the trash. So he came back and countered with a 4th for a 6th, and I thought, okay, I can deal with that. I can work with that.
Yeah, and I question his judgment sometimes. He is a big defender of Cale Makar. And, I just, he does have.
How did I know that was going to come up at least once today?
Yeah.
That's my captain, Tim. That's my captain, baby. So, about an hour later, guys.
That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback.
My quarterback, man.
Oh, God. So, after seeing that deal, guys, I made my 2nd and final trade of the deadline. I saw Stork. He's competing with me for a playoff spot. And I was like, I might have to do one more item of business. So I go back to Nick, identifying him as a seller. I looked over his roster. And I went after his second-round pick for this year. He picked Rupe Hintz, second-round pick, I believe, right? Or was it third? I can't remember. You went over it earlier. But I had a player, he started off light because they didn't play him so much. But this guy is going to be a keeper in our league. I offered Leo Carlson. For a rookie, he had a pretty decent showing. And this is where Nick, he asked about an 8th round pick to be included, and I was like, sure, fine. I was going to give him a pick higher than what he'd give me. I'll sit out around for a 9th pick. So he gave me Rupe Hintz for Leo Carlson. Leo, I think he's going to showcase his talents here in the final couple of weeks because he's playing more. If you remember, Pat Verbeek, the GM, had him on a program. I wish he would have played all year, but because he's a big centerman. The Ducks are, a rebuilding team with a lot of youth, and in no time, I think they're going to be a contender. They need some more defense stuff, but I was very happy that Nick offered Rupe Hintz. Rupe Hintz, not the best year he's ever had, I don't think, but the Dallas Stars are a wagon, and I actually was pleased to replenish my center position after I lost Tage Thompson. So that was that deal. Any thoughts on that one, Stork?
Oh, that was a good trade for you, I think. Again, that pick thing, it makes me nervous.
I
but
lost an 8th round pick. So
I mean, I understand that. You and I are in the same boat right now. We're both on the outside looking in, but both of us can just reach that 5th place spot. Like it's right in our grasp. So you got to make the deal. And in our case, we have a reason to make a deal because we're making a push to get in the top 6, and we're very close because, as you can see, we're only 1 point out of 5th place. Well, you're only a point out of 5th place. I'm only 2 points out of 5th. So
Tim's gonna beat me, and I'm gonna lose to Scott. So I just know my luck.
Yeah. So I mean, like any deal
like I told you. Like I told you earlier, I was offered a big time player who's kind of not I won't say what the deal was. I was offered a big time player that's not having his best year for a round 2 pick, Stork, and I just couldn't do it, man.
I had a trade that I was thinking about too. I'll just tell you guys, since the trade deadline's over, but me and the Killer Bunnies were discussing. It would have been a mega trade, and this goes back to these 3rd round picks.
You fucking Leaf fans, man.
The offer was Nylander and Kachuk for Matthews and a 3rd.
Shit.
We were going to switch captains. I was also going to get Nylander in the deal, but I had to give up a 3rd round pick to do it. And
tell me Dan Hall was not kicking himself after he did not take out Matthews at number.
I told you at the draft that he's going to be kicking himself because he's a Matthews fan.
I still think Kachuk's a great pick, but
Kachuk is a great pick, exactly. And I was going to take him. I was thinking about it, but then I started thinking the thing that set me back was that 3rd round pick after I had just given away a 4th round. I didn't want to lose a 3rd and a 4th round pick. I just didn't want to do that.
All right, gentlemen, just real quick, a couple more trades here. We'll move on to the end of the show. Frozen Horsemen were active again. They traded surprising best player of the year. This guy's having a hellacious year, guys. Sammy Reinhart there in Florida. This guy's scoring some goals. This was a big deal. Nick sends Sammy Reinhart, arguably be one of his best players besides Kaprizov, and a round 14 pick for Jason Dickinson and a round 5 pick. I think that worked out pretty good to Julio of Huma, who's also a contender and not in the playoffs yet. Timmy, we'll go to you first. What do you think of this deal? They're in your
now.
Sammy Reinhart.
Is this another draft picks? Draft picks involved? Or is this just a straight?
Yeah, draft picks. draft picks. 'Cause
Fifth rounder.
Yeah, Dave was
Julio
upset.
gave up a fifth rounder.
A fifth rounder.
It-
I mean, again, like Stork always says, it's these picks are like gold. But I mean, again, go for it, right? A team like
Julio's in fifth place right now.
Yeah.
He's only a point up on Jimmy and a point up on Pro Bear and 2 points up on me. So he's got 3 teams chasing him. So, and then he's seeing these trades being made by the teams right below him, and he figured he needs to make a move himself. So he picked up Reinhardt, gave up a fifth for him, which is not that bad. Just as long as you don't go giving up fourths and thirds and seconds. Yeah. So it was a good trade for Julio too. Obviously a good trade for Nick. He just picked up another juicy draft pick for next year. So, it's a win-win, really, for both guys, especially Nick. I mean, I got to say.
I would agree with that, because a draft pick, a fifth rounder, it's...
Nick's done, so he's picking up... he might as well use up his assets because he can't... As long as you don't trade your keeper away.
Yeah.
These guys are useless to him now.
I can tell
we all know it's going to be Kaprizov.
I can tell you guys that my team sucks because only one person tried to pick my roster. So that's how I know that my team's garbage.
Oh, well, no, I was looking at your team, Jim. There was a couple of guys I was thinking about going after.
I gave you a call during a bad time. You were at work.
Oh, that's right. That's fair. I did forget that one.
I tried to get Marchessault off of you.
That's true. You did.
I know. I'm a big Marchessault hater, but at the same time, I do think he's a great fantasy hockey player. But
he's been very good this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I know Julio. He's a big Vegas guy. I wonder if he even tried to poach you guys. But all right, we're almost done, you guys. There was a minor deal a couple days later. This was actually trade deadline day. Travis Sanheim, a defenseman. This one was another Woody Woodpeckers and Nova Fire Brigade swap. Josh Morrissey has been Nova Fire Brigade's golden boy back there on the blue line, and one of Scott's favorite players. And he actually stated he's just a rental because he's going to try to get him next year in the draft. So if you're trying to ruin Scott's plans, maybe you'll draft him earlier. But Scott Lanham sends his prized defenseman Josh Morrissey to the Woody Woodpeckers for Travis Sanheim. Woody Woodpeckers also sent a round 4 pick, guys. A round 4 pick. And Nova gives up a 7th rounder. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, or am I missing a round?
2, 4, 5.
Okay, because we haven't gotten to the last deal.
We haven't got to the last trade yet. No.
Is there one more? I forgot.
No, there's
we have one more. One more
by the
blockbuster.
Woodpecker?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God. Like I said, you might as well have a nap next year.
Timmy, your thoughts, buddy? I think Morrissey's a great defenseman. Travis Stein, I think that was an even. I wonder if you even had to swap picks in this one. I guess more probably is a better offensive player, but Travis Sanheim's doing great in Philadelphia.
Well, I think the Fire Brigade.
Apparently, the cherry bombs have got him shook up.
Yeah.
He's looking for the panic button and he can't find it, so he keeps pushing. Yeah, I think he's afraid of the cherry bombs. I think they shook him up.
I'm with you on that one because I had him over the barrel a little bit, because like you said, maybe they didn't need to trade the draft pick, but you probably had to sweeten up with something. But
I would have kept Sanheim myself over Morrissey. Come on.
Yeah.
Scott loves Morrissey. He was about that draft pick, so I can't blame Scott. I honestly don't know what the series is between the Cherry Bombs and Mark. I think she might have a 2-1 lead on him. If I'm not, I can't remember. Oh no, that they play again next week.
No, they're 1-1.
Yeah, they're 1-1. So the big
rubber match, and they'll have a big showdown next week.
Yeah, the big rubber. That's right. That is going to be a blockbuster, guys, and I'm getting my popcorn. So
that'll be a fun one.
Mark, definitely. I think both those teams are playoff teams. He's all about the big run. So, and then we'll wrap it up, guys. With the this was the nail in the coffin for Mark Wood's first few rounds, guys. Listen to this one. The Woody Woodpeckers trade Jamie Benn. He tried to get it to Tim. Jamie Benn, Rasmus Anderson. I think Rasmus is a good fantasy player. He gives you hits. He'll throw in some goals here and there, but a big physical defenseman for Calgary. And he gives up his first round pick.
Oh, no.
Woody Woodpeckers for some aging Tampa Bay Lightning. Granted, I still think Stamkos is a hell of a player, but he gets Stamkos, Hedman on the blue line. And in return, Frozen Norseman. This goes to Nick Reedy. So Nick Reedy gets a big pick, around 1 pick. He just gives up his 4th pick. So Nick's not going to have his 4th pick. Did he acquire a 4th pick? I don't even remember already. But Nick, I think, is a winner. He's going to have 2 first-round picks next year, guys. He'll probably pick 2 wild, but
He's going to be scary.
Timmy,
Now,
your thoughts
give
on
me
this?
a mini boner to have that many. There goes that mini boner again. Nick's got a mini boner for the draft next season.
I'm gonna get Mark Wood on here, Woody Woodpeckers, especially during the playoffs. And we'll get his takes because I like to allow equal time. This is like political. Hey man, if Mark Wood wins this championship,
the first 6 rounds next year, he has a 3rd round pick.
So he didn't give up his 3rd. Okay, that's what I wanted to
he still has a 3rd.
Okay,
and he better use it wisely. Because
he's going after picks and free agency next year. So
he's going to be he better win this year, because if he doesn't, it's not going to be good next year. He's going to have to tooth and claw to grab a playoff spot next year, unless some miracle happens. When you lose 4 of your first 5 picks in this draft in our league, it's going to cost you big time. So he better win this year. I mean, if he wins this year, all the power to him. But next year, he's going to be climbing out of a deep cavern.
It's going to be Draisaitl and a bunch of guys next year for him.
Yeah.
So real quick, a synopsis: the biggest winner and biggest loser. Who you guys? I'm not gonna sit here and say what is the biggest loser at all. But I will say the biggest winner. I do like what Scott Lanham did. Well, Nick got the first though.
No, I think it's got to be the Colonel.
You think the Colonel's the winner?
I mean, he got a 1st round draft pick.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
I think
I can't remember.
And DuPont did pretty well. Or not DuPont.
Yeah,
Sorry.
not me.
DuPont will do well next year. He'll win the consolation.
Hey, you got all your picks, man, so you're good.
That's true.
Yeah.
DuPont, are you sold? Or who's you're gonna? I'm not gonna tell you to. I'm not asking you who your keeper is, but do you know who your keeper?
I'm keeping.
Oh, it is Bedard. Yeah, that's what I thought.
We're just going.
I thought you might have mentioned Sid.
I mean, I like Sid, but I mean, he's great, but
yeah,
it's Bedard.
The Norsemen and Nova are the ones that won big time next year.
Right.
Well, for this year, I mean, they didn't win this year; they're out of the playoffs, but they sure made some noise for next season. We'll have to watch out for both of them, because they're going to have some juicy picks next year. As for, I mean, like you said, I don't think Mark lost the deals. If he wins this year, he didn't lose the deals. If he gets knocked out in the 1st round, ouch.
Yeah. And I mean, with the Colonel, he's got 2 firsts, a 2nd, a 3rd, and 1 4th. I mean, he swapped one of those 4ths for the 1st, but I mean, that's
looking pretty good.
Yeah.
His name is all over the first 3 or 4 rounds. That's all that matters.
Exactly. And the Woodpeckers, if they can get to the championship, I mean, it's going to stink if you get that far and lose. But if he gets to the championship, you can't blame him for making the move.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't put myself in that position because.
No, I wouldn't either. Yeah.
No, not in a 1-keeper league. If I was a 2 or 3 keeper league or a 4 keeper league, that would be something I could trade away my draft picks if I've got 4 heck of a hockey player in my wing that I don't have to worry about losing. That's a different story. But when you only got one keeper, those draft picks they're small. I mean, you can go up to the 7th, 8th round and get some pretty good hockey players in those rounds. So think about what 1, 2, 3, and 4 is. I mean, there's some wicked picks in those rounds. To miss one round is okay. You can deal with that. But when you're, first round, second round, fourth round, fifth round, that's a gamble.
Yep.
But like I said, if he wins it this year, he won the deal because he won a championship.
Yep.
That's what we're doing here. That's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
So we'll see how it goes. But next year, I wouldn't want to be Mark Wood. Even if I won this year, I wouldn't want to be Mark Wood next year. I mean, I just wouldn't.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, rivalry. I love it. Well, guys, man, I kept you a little bit too long, but I really enjoyed the banter. Real quick, Tim, congrats, Otter and the Stars beat the Jets 4-1. Kraken first intermission, they're up 1-0. We're gonna get to that game. We'll go listen to Fitzy on the radio because neither one of us have root sports. But what was I gonna say? It's gonna be a phenomenal playoff push here. To Stork, not too much, but you guys play each other next week. Me and Tim are playing in our last Gretzky versus Ovi weekend. Storky, you're in a battle with Nova Fire Brigade. I think the last time I saw you were winning that game.
No, I'm down right now. I'm not worried.
Oh, are you? Me and Tim are tied at 9-9. I'm surprised. I thought, or at least it says that on my. I don't know how it's going to go if they didn't give Ottinger the win yet. I thought you would have been beating me, Tim. It's going to be definitely a battle, and we're going to have some good fantasy hockey here.
Go, Tim, go.
Last 2 weeks. I know Stork's in for his divisional rivalry. Guys, I kept you a little bit too long, and I really appreciate it. It's been a great fantasy trade deadline recap, and I can't thank you enough. Tim, your podcast.
Courts and Fields. Stork, I need to get you on before the hockey playoffs.
Absolutely, man. Yeah,
you and Jimmy, we need to do a hockey preview.
Let's do it. Promote your show, buddy.
Count me in. Count me in.
The latest? What's been the latest? Timmy, college basketball is coming.
Yeah, college basketball. We've been kind of sticking to the football, but football season's over. It's I'm gonna have a golf expert on. I'm not a golf guy myself, but I'm gonna have a golf.
Oh hell yeah, the Masters.
We have a local attorney that loves golf. But yeah, hockey. You are the hockey guys I know. Colonel himself. Well, maybe have the four of us break down some puck when the cup happens.
Sure.
And it's Courts and Fields. On Apple.
It's on all the
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
And Tim Kelly, the PipeLayer. Really, thank you for joining me, Timmy.
Thank you.
And Storky. It's always good to have another guest on to change up the monotony. But I mean, me and Stork have great banter. But
you guys are great.
Tim, always great insight. I love your insight, buddy. So thanks for joining us. What's your next Kraken game?
I will be going not a week from tomorrow. The Winnipeg Jets are in town.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a real good one. Hell yeah,
yes, sir. And then
then
6 days later, I get to see or 5 days later, 5 or 6 days later, they take on the hated Washington Capitals.
That's good, baby. I'm looking to be at that one. Tickets not secured, but I want Tim to be there. I'm not taking Tim's tickets. I want him to be at that match. Bring the firefighter, Mike.
But yeah, me and firefighter Mike will be.
I know. I want Tim to be there. Unless you really can't go. We haven't secured ours yet, Tim, but I'm a slam dunk. I'll be there. But
we'll see you there.
Storky, the deputy, you get the last word, buddy. It's your show.
Great banter today. I want to thank Tim myself for showing up for the show, and hopefully you'll do another one with us because I was good banter. We got to rant a little bit about who won and lost the trades and about the trades. And this is, the last 2 weeks of the season, this is it. It's go time for a few of us. Me and Jimmy looking on the outside, trying to get in, and we're chasing two teams. So it's going to be some exciting fantasy hockey for the next 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
All right, boys. Good luck. Thanks for joining me for the PipeLayer, Tim Kelly of the DuPont PipeLayers. The deputy, Kevin Stork of the Langley Scorpions. I am the commish, Jimmy the Mailman Milstead of the Americans. Badger Bob always said it was a great day for hockey. It's been a great day for hockey. Let's go finish watching some hockey. I'm gonna go turn on the Kraken and Penguins radio because I don't get the TV. But enjoy the hockey, guys, and enjoy anything that you're interested in, and have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining me. This has been
Right on,
Storks
boys.
Desk, episode 15. Good night, guys.